We're on the far side of Villanueva de la Torre. Directly ahead is the road to Kir, and as you can see, the rain has really made it sloppy. If you look at the front tire, it's pretty well caked up. Now the mud guards help clean off some of it so it doesn't get too thick, but it does make a mess, so I'll need to make a pit stop at the car wash to be sure, but that's okay. Now there is kind of a little grassy shoulder here, so I'm going to go back, not because this is impassable, but because it's not practical. And the ride today isn't that important. I'm just out having fun. So I'm going to go ahead and turn around and pick this up. Even this grass bit is pretty sketchy. Usually I complain about the rocks and brag about how good the clay is, but when the clay gets wet like this, especially in these farm areas, which is pretty much everywhere I go, it becomes like grease. Now see, on the rocks, it's not as much of a problem. One of the things the mud guards do is pick up mud and dirt and such, and causes it to get squeegeed off, which is a good thing. When I put the new front fender on, I made sure that it had all the room I could give it. The struts act like a little blade, and they cut off the junk. And there's this fender, this new mud guard, is a lot longer than the one that was on this bike. Same manufacturer. Can't remember right now. I think it's called Hebe. Anyway, it's perfectly good and robust mud guard. But I cut the other one because it looked better. Basically, I had two sets. My logic was, why buy one when two is only twice as much? It's funny seeing all the mud flying off the tire. It's a blessed day today. I'm not sure of the temperature, but it feels like it might be 12 or 13 degrees Celsius, which very soft wind. Well, that wasn't so bad. When I look at my shoes, they hardly have any mud on them at all. Just a couple spots. So yeah, the mud guards really work good. The stuff that's on my shoe is just a couple little clumps, and it'll fall off before I get too far. Today's been one of those kind of days where it's an easy ride, no particular objective. And what I wanted to do is use a lower power setting on the control pad, like 2 and 3. There's 5 possibilities. 1 is kind of silly. 2 and 3 will get you, depending on how charged the battery is, up to 30 kilometers. With a hot battery, with 3, it'll definitely get you up to 30 with just a little bit of help. But after the voltage goes down, after, let's say, 10 or 15 kilometers, it goes back down to about 25, which is 28. I don't know. I'm in 2 now, and I'm doing 23, and I'm not even trying hardly. But the idea is to push against the motor and relieve it. When I had the other battery, was a 48 volt, I think it was 11 amp hours, and because it had, well, I'm not sure how many. It's been so long since I've used it. I don't remember exactly. But I'll put it in the storyline. Anyway, because it did have a smaller capacity, I would pedal more and kind of nurse it. With this 20 amp 48 volt battery, the worst I can do is, I'd say 10 kilometers per volt when everything's working well, and 7 when I'm lazy or headwinds. Depends on the climbing hills. It'll go down to about 7. So, if you have a disposable or dispensable 10 volts, let's say, that would be 70 kilometers, 75 kilometers in the worst case scenario, and best case scenario over 100. But there's actually about 14 disposable volts. So this bike has a lot of potential range, but you have to be nice to it to get that 140 kilometers. As none of my rides are that long, I don't have to be too nice. I'm going 26, and I am pushing pretty hard. My cadence is, what is my 68, 70 RPM on the pedals. '76 now. I downshifted. Uh-oh. Traffic. The only thing I don't like about this bike are the flat pedals. They're such a mixed blessing. The positive side is I can get my feet to the ground, especially with the dropper seat post, really quickly, which is handy in that mud. If I didn't have the dropper, it would have been kind of sketchy. With the dropper seat post, my CG is lower, and I'm able to catch the bike if it starts to go into the wrong direction. It's very possible to fall in the mud, and I've done it only once. I got educated. Not hurt, nothing got hurt, but educated. So I'm on power level 2 with the battery. 26 kilometers. 25 is the legal maximum for an e-bike under its own power in Spain. With pedal power, I don't, like now I'm going 27. I don't think there's a limit. Another issue is my hub motor is small. It looks very much like the standard 250 hub you'll see in a department store bike. It's just a little bigger and just a little stronger, so it doesn't attract attention. But should it die, I wouldn't buy another one. I think a 500. Being that I don't need to go faster than 40, which is what this bike can do, with a little help, I can limit. But basically, I don't think a 500 would be any faster. I could make sure to limit it to keep it under, let's say, 35, 40 kilometers an hour, and I wouldn't attract any attention. You don't want to be too damn slow in traffic. That's not good. And you don't want to be so fast that it's unnatural. E-bike laws are very weird, and I don't think even the policemen understand them, so they leave you alone. Well, this is the charming town of Mecca. I may have mentioned this in other videos. Mecca is considered one of the best communities to live in the province of Madrid. And from what I've been able to see, I believe it. I mean, there are more ritzy places, there are more rural places, but I think this town has a good mix. Bus service, it has a community center, all sorts of good things here, and affordable. Well, it was affordable. Anyway, I think that'll do it. Now it's going to get boring. Gotta go.